In the light of the recent events surrounding the surrender of Russian spy Pavel Rubtsov and the revelation that he had access to secret files, President Andrzej Duda took the opportunity to reflect on the controversial agreement between the Polish Internal Security Service, the SKW, and the Russian FSB. In 2012, an agreement was reached between the SKW and the FSB regarding cooperation. This was agreed during the tenure of Prime Minister Donald Tusk. Could this cooperation between the Russian security services and the Polish security services under the government of Mr. Prime Minister Donald Tusk still be continuing, given the apparent continuity of this arrangement? It is worth noting that the agreement to cooperate with the Russian security services, signed by Prime Minister Donald Tusk in 2011, was a key factor in the subsequent developments. The current leader of the 13th December coalition has publicly criticised the president for drawing attention to this embarrassing fact for Donald Tusk. I have never previously used this argument and will do so for the first time in its entirety. I'm grateful that there are only 333 days remaining. Polish military intelligence's agreement with the Russian FSB was formalized in 2013, although informal cooperation had already been in place since 2008. Polish officers, including Colonel Nosek, engaged in social interactions with Russian counterparts over alcoholic beverages. At the present time, ministers in Donald Tusk's administration are stating that there is no possibility of continuing the policy of opening up to Russia. Please note that this agreement is not currently in force. Consequently, any suspect in Poland who has charges against them has access to the files concerning them. However, this is not the case. In accordance with Article 156 of the Code of Criminal Procedure, Section 5, access to the file of the suspect is permitted, unless there is a need to safeguard the proper course of the proceedings or to protect an important state interest. And so it was in this case. The question is why Prime Minister Tusk reacts so nervously when the topic of Russian influence over Poland comes up in public discourse. Mr. Prime Minister very much does not want the public to remember the very issue of the agreement, the issue of the policy pursued towards the Nord Stream, nor does he want to remember the Russian foreign minister invited to the briefing of the Polish ambassadors after the Smolensk catastrophe. One of the first decisions of Donald Tusk's team was to dismiss members of the Commission to investigate Russian influence. When the public media were illegally taken over last December, the series Reset, documenting the rapprochement between Donald Tusk's government and Vladimir Putin, was immediately removed from the TV archives. The public is supposed to forget about dialogue with Russia as it is.